Hello you guys, thanks for stopping by to my channel. On today's video, the topic is going to be about house poor. If you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. It really helps my channel out in all shapes and forms. It especially helps my channel to grow, and I appreciate you all. So let's get into it. Number one, I might have to set the camera away so I can read these a little bit different and see them, because I can't see them when I'm recording like this. So number one, yes, I own my own home. The house is paid for. That's where the joy ends. My house doesn't feel like a home. Home is a very big word. It's a key word. Number two, I'm always stressed and worried. All I can do is barely pay my bills. Number three, this house is close to 50 years old. It's a 1976-year-old house. Number four, before I got this house, it was being used as a rental house. When we moved it down here, we found out they cobbled this house together for repairs. There was like newspapers in the walls that they used as insulation, for instance. Number five, this house was moved from where the now Letcher County Central High School is. Let me turn this page. The next place, I hope I got this in order. I think I do. Yeah, I do. The next place we looked at is wait, let me read that again. The next place we looked at was an old double wide of a young man's and his wife's, and they were going through a divorce. This soon-to-be ex-wife wasn't there when viewing the house, but it was so uncomfortable. He wasn't talkative or friendly, and he was dyeing the carpet at the time. We got offered to buy a beautiful big house up in Spring Branch, which is in Letcher County, right next to where I live now. At the time, the seller was going to sell it to us for $55,000. Since then, that house has been sold 3 times. It's actually on the market right now for sale, and is back on the market for sale now for over $200,000. There was another house for sale up the road in I think I'm missing a page. Let me go back. I'm sorry, guys. I think I've got these out of order a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. I'll just start it from here. Hopefully to make sense. I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't prepare as much as I thought I did. Number 6. We paid $800 for this house when it was auctioned off. Number 7. This house costed $14,000 to have it moved. Number 8. When we first had it moved, we did some repairs on it. Buying it, having it moved, and the repairs we did to it at the time, we spent all together around $30,000 into this house. Number 9. I have been in poverty all my adult life and house poor as soon as I got this house. Number 10. At the time I was looking to get a house, I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. So when we moved in, I was 7 months pregnant with her. She is 21 years old. So we've lived in this house for 21 years. Number 11, I never intended on living in this house past a few years. Number 12, at the time of moving into this house or looking for a house, I wanted to live over in Pike County, Kentucky. 13, we looked at a few houses for sale over in Pike County. A single wide trailer in a fenced in trailer lot that was over 50 years old at the time, and the old couple who was trying to sell it wanted to move to Tennessee to be closer to their son with cancer. They were wanting to sell it for $25,000. The hauler next to us for $50,000. That house had we looked at the house that was up at the hauler next to us, and they were wanting to sell that house for $50,000. That house had termites at the time they was selling it. It has went through 2 different owners since then. Number 14, and I think it got flooded too back in July of 2022 because it sits right next to the creek. 14, at the time of looking for a house, we looked at several mobile homes. Back then, single wide trailers were $25,000 and double wides were $50,000 on up. 15, back then, they wasn't no land for sale. Back then, if you found a nice, decent piece of land for sale, it would cost you $50,000 just for the land. 16, back when we got this house, my parents were into renting houses. My mom was planning on buying this house and moving it down here no matter what. 17, my dad gave me this land where my house sits. 18, my house sits on the land that my grandpa used to use as his garden. 19, I was offered at the time either this piece of land or over in the bottom where my dad uses for his garden now. 20, if I had chose the bottom, the bigger piece of land, I wouldn't have had a house now. It would have all been destroyed in the July flood of 2022. Maybe would have even lost our lives if I had not chose to live over there, or if I had chose to live over there on that piece of land. 21, I live next to the train tracks, and where the train blows its whistle, no, you never get used to it. And I've lived near the train tracks all my life. 22, I live right next to the road, and no, you never get used to that either. 23, when my grandpa was alive, living in the house where my uncle lives now, he used my yard to put his septic tank in. Let me turn this page. 24, my uncle lives next door to me now in my grandpa's old brick house. He has his septic tank in my side yard. 25, since we've lived here in this house, I've had the septic tanks replaced 3 times. Now, in a 21-year time period, I've had my septic tanks flushed out 41 times since living here. And that stuff is not cheap. Not cheap at all. Neither one of them's cheap, especially having to have septic tanks replaced. That's thousands of dollars, up from like $10,000 on up each time. And then also every time you get them flushed now, it ranges in prices, but it's usually about $300 for each tank that you have flushed, or even having them blown out. I've had that done a couple of times too since I've lived here. And it's none of that stuff is cheap. It's very, very costly, especially when you're on a fixed income. 26. The Bible meaning for my address means chaos and destruction. 27. Since the flood of 2022, this house has had black mold in it, and the walls and floors are rotting, falling apart. Sorry, I couldn't read my own handwriting. Turn this page. 28. They say this house isn't in a flood zone, but yet if it wasn't for the railroad tracks being here, this house wouldn't be standing here today. 29. I live within 5 of the biggest rug dealers in a 1.5 mile radius. 30. I live next to family, that's a key word there, that hate, that's another key word, me as bad as I hate them, if not more. And I'm the black sheep of, and being shunned by off and on all my life. Now it's just history repeating itself for my daughters. And that's self-explanatory. If you don't understand it, you're a daggone moron. 31. My septic tank leaks constantly in my front yard. 32. I live in a very corrupted county. 33. I live in a county that is very racist, and my type is the non-whites. 34. I live in a county that is 20 years behind on most tech and culture. 35. I live in a place where I was and still am an outcast for the community. Now my daughters have been too. 36. Think about where you live at before you have children. That's where your children are going to be going to church and school, and most likely that's your children's future. Mates, choices. Sorry, I have a cat that's wanting me to pet on it and love on it. Tiny boy, stop. I gotta finish reading this. Oh, goodness. Sorry about that. He slung candle wax from that candle all over this phone in my hand and my shirt too from his tail. All right, let's finish reading this. 37. I live in a place that educational system is failing. It's been failing for decades. Even back whenever I was in school, it was failing. 38. I live in one of the poorest places. That means no money for roads, repairs, schools, etc. 39. I live in a rural place. That means 3 hours away for a good doctor, to an airport, mall, or anything over a handful of fast food places. 40. This area is considered a food desert area when it comes to fresh fruit and vegetables. And it's also very costly. You wouldn't think it would be, but it's very costly around here for produce. I mean, our prices are up there with some of the most expensive places in America. 41. I live in an area where within 1 mile of me there is 15 registered sex offenders, and that's just the ones who have registered. Also, pedos love to be in a place like this because it's rural out in the mountains. And I looked at the registry recently, and there's all kinds of people who are not registered that I know are sex offenders and pedos. So it is what it is. 42. There is no buses, sidewalks, stuff within walking distance, public transportation here. 43. Everyone knows of you here and your business. Once you get a reputation, it sticks to you for life. 44. You have to know someone to get any job around here. 45. There isn't nothing to do around here for the youth. There isn't no community centers. And if there is community centers, most of the time it's like I don't know how to say this, it's like a popularity type thing. And it's also like they do people, like if you're a black sheep or whatever, they shun you in those community centers too, and they don't give you no help or nothing if you're a person in need of help or whatever around here. That's the way it's been for decades. 46. There isn't no help from around here unless you're the in clan in the Who. 47. There is no apartments, housings around here, and after the floods, barely any places to rent. 48. There isn't any city sewer in this area. There is city sewer in Letcher County, just not in the area that I live in. It's more closer to like Weisberg and Jenkins. 49. Our city water is costly and non-drinkable. It's yellow. It's gross. So I have to buy drinking water all the time anyways. 50. There isn't no homeless or any shelters around here. Let me turn this page. 51. There isn't no nice parks around here. 52. My house is falling apart and it takes all my income to pay my bills, monthly bills. 53. There isn't no programs to help poor homeowners like me here. 54. Once you own a home, everything is left up to you to repair. 55. Owning a home, you must constantly repair and remodel it to keep it held up. 56. A person like me on disability is only allowed to own one home. I would have been better off in the public housing projects if I had known I was going to be disabled. Our housing project has always had a 10-year waiting list. Now they house COPSs, POPOs, in them first. That's the way it's been for the past 20-some years now. It's like that's who they house first in the housing projects. 57. House repairs can cost thousands of dollars. 58. I have water leaks and can't afford to fix them. 59. You might not get along with your neighbors. 60. Neighbors will do stuff on purpose to annoy you or be mean to you. Neighbors can have outside animals and you can't. Okay, 61. There is no jobs here and the minimum wage here is still $7.25 an hour. And then I made some more of these. I'll read them off to you. 62. Ruggies, especially males, are culturally put on pedestals here and not made to work, get a job, and they do get benefits without being disabled. It's like they, around here in the Appalachian Mountains, it seems like the males, especially if they're ex-Ruggies or Ruggies, they get first come, first serve when it comes to stuff like that. 63. Most land around here is generational and has 5 family members. I don't know what I wrote there. 5 family members. I don't know what I wrote there, but I know that most people around here, it is generational, and they'll have like up to 5 family members or more on a deed, listed on a deed. So in other words, people can't buy that land. It just sits there if they can't come to an agreement most of the time. And 64, can't afford to get insurance, and in a disaster situations, insurance don't cover on houses here. They do cover. They changed that rule a while back, maybe like, well, especially during the July flood of 2022, we found out that you're better off around here if you do have a single wide trailer or a mobile home or double wide or whatever, because insurance will cover for floods and tornadoes and disaster situations on those type of homes and stuff. When they won't cover for a house, like a built house, they won't cover that and stuff. We found that out during the July flood of 2022 from FEMA. And I don't know why, it don't make sense to me, but that's what they changed the rules to for around here. Anyways, I appreciate you all who have watched, and I would appreciate it if you would please hit the like button. It helps get my channel out in the algorithm. And I thank you all, and I will talk to you all later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.